Welcome to install 106 shelf-to-shelf cabling. The building block videos are targeted at NetApp and partner engineers as well as do-it-yourself customers. Always consult the most recent documentation before starting any work. In this video, we will first discuss the different shelf controller modules available and how they differ. Then we will talk about the cables used to connect shelves together. Finally, we will demonstrate the process to cable shelves together. ESH and AT FCX shelf controller modules. These modules are used in the older DS14 shelves to control fiber channel and SATA drives. Each shelf has two modules for fault tolerance. The DS14 model line lasted for a number of years and supported multiple generations of disk drives, so eventually needed to support 1, 2, and 4 gigabit throughput as drives became faster over time. IOM3 and 6 shelf controller modules. SAS shelves also have two controller modules for fault tolerance. Unlike the ESH modules with ports labeled in and out, or using an arrow, IOMs use a square or circle. Because disk access is point-to-point, direction is arbitrary. So for consistency purposes, NetApp has decided square ports will be treated like in ports, and circle ports are the out ports. An additional reliability feature of SAS shelf modules is the alternate control path ports, which provide a non-data, out-of-band path for fault correction of the module. First generation SAS shelves had 3 gigabit backplanes, while the current generation shelves support 6 gigabit. You can mix both types in a shelf stack, but it will throttle down the 6 gigabit shelves to 3 gigabit. DS14 shelves can connect with various lengths of SFP to SFP cables. The half meter is the most common length. Fiber cables can also be used by inserting SFP optical transceivers into the in and out ports of the ESH and AT-FCX modules.
With the shelves racked and stacked, we've set the shelves IDs, and on the DS14 there's a speed selector. Since we have 15K RPM drives, we're using 4 gig settings. Each shelf has an A shelf controller module and a B controller module, and with an in-port and out-port on both modules. We have 3 shelves, so we'll be connecting all 3 shelves together using shelf-to-shelf cables. The first step is determining which is the first shelf in our stack, shelf 1, and which is the last shelf in our stack, shelf 3. In shelf 1, we put a SFP adapter in the in-port on both modules. And the modules are rotated. The top module is upside down, the bottom module is right side up, so the GBICs or SFP adapters go in different directions. Push them in until they click. If they don't click, they're in upside down. Push it in gently until it clicks. On the bottom shelf, for MPHA cabling, we use the out ports. So we insert SFP adapters. And now, using the SFP to SFP cable, we plug in the A module of shelf 1, the out port to the in port of the A module of shelf 2, and it's always nice to pull back the little magnets to make room for any additional cables. So on the DS14 shelves, in port has the arrow pointing at the hole, out port has the arrow pointing out. And as we've noted, The A module is inserted upside down, so the ports are different. This is the in port and out port. So on shelf 2 to go to shelf 3, we go connect to the out port, slide it in, give it a slight tug, and then go to the in port of the next shelf, and again pulling out these ferro cores. The next step is to connect the B modules of the shelves. So we go from the out port of shelf 1 to the in port of shelf 2. And when we're pushing the cables in, push them in until they click, give it a tug to make sure it doesn't come loose. Out module of shelf 2, out to the in port of shelf 3.
SAS shelves are connected with various lengths of QSFP cables. Shelves ship with the 2-meter cables unless you request half-meter cables be added to the sales order or purchased separately. Optical cables for SAS are now available, but have specific requirements that can be found in the Universal SAS and ACP Cabling Guide on the NetApp support website. Unless you are only installing or cabling DS14 shelves, we recommend watching Install 107 on ACP Cabling for SAS shelves next.